everybody. So Nestor very generously asked me to say a few remarks, and he did caution that this is a moment of real seriousness, and I'll return to that in a second. But he urged also some levity, and I can think of nothing funnier than the way he spelled my name on the program. So it's, Lopez is a Latino surname, but it turns out Haney is a Latino surname too when you spell it Hayne, Haney. So I'm Professor Ian Haney Lopez. Thanks, Nestor.
So keep you part of the community.
Yeah. So community. I think community. I want to talk in a little bit of abstraction before I come back to what we're doing here today. I think community on one level is really internal. It's events like this. It's knowing people like Renato. It's like coming together to mourn his passing and also celebrate his life. It's creating meaning amongst each other. It's creating shared reference points. It's creating a language and a vocabulary. It's all of you getting to know each other. Right? So it's very internal, and it becomes a way of seeing the world, a way of participating in the world, a way of talking to each other, a way of having connections with each other. Community is also external. It's also one's relations with the larger society. I think when we think about external relations, we think about how others see us. And in that context, sometimes communities occur against a backdrop in which communities are largely esteemed, but very often they occur against a backdrop in which they're not esteemed, in which they're widely reviled or even actively demonized. And I think that's what's happening with the Latino community now. So it's not just that there are people outside who haven't participated with you, who don't understand your internal references, who haven't experienced with you the sort of, the way you were raised by your parents, your mother's values, your father's values, right? All of those internal stuff. It's not just that they haven't participated, which always creates a little bit of a gap. It's that we exist now in a milieu in which we are being actively presented as a threat to the larger society. And that can create a very sharp chasm sort of between the sort of external view and the external view, who we know ourselves to be, who we're trying to be, our relations, and then how we're seen and how we're treated. Beyond this idea that community is internal, I want to suggest two other things. That community is both chance and affiliation. Community is chance in the sense that, what does it mean to be Latino? What it means to be Latino, we're born into these Latino families. It has to do with where our parents came from or where our grandparents came from. That's pure chance. Right? We could have been born into some other family. And I want to emphasize that for a second because two things. One, I want to say, if community is chance, then we need to recognize the basic humanity of people who are inside and outside of our community. We could have been a part of some different community. We could have a different worldview. And just as people need to recognize our basic humanity, right? This is the sheer damn accident aspect of it all. I also want to say this because I've seen a tendency within an awful lot of communities, some subordinate communities, some superordinate communities, to insist that somehow your birth says something profound and indelible about you. And I've seen subordinated communities respond by saying, it's my Latinidad, it's my African roots, it's whatever. It says something profound and indelible that makes me, no. This is chance, right? And it's the myth of hierarchies among humans that depends upon the lie that somehow our past or our antecedents fixes us with an identity, with a character, with a quality that is independent of who we are. That's a lie, right? And I don't when we come together as the Latino community or the Latinx community, it's not because we are fixed by nature. We're not. We are fixed by nature only insofar as we share a humanity with everybody else in this globe. Right? So chance is really important there. But the main thing I want to talk about is affiliation. Because this is choice, right? By affiliation, I mean choice. We're making a choice. Every community is a choice. It's a choice to see in each other some shared connection. It's a choice to build that connection. I think that choice occurs within the larger social context. It certainly occurs within a context in which we're widely reviled, and it becomes all the more important. But more than anything else, I think it's that affiliation, it's that choice that we should be really proud of. Because this is the effort and the work to build human relations with each other. And what we're doing is, on the one hand, it's like who your parents were, and the traditions, and the language, and the values, right? That you're saying, hey, I want to engage these, I want to uphold them, probably want to change some of them, right? That's choice too. And then it's to go beyond that, to say, I want to use that to create connections with other people. And I want those connections to be a way of supporting people in hard times, to joining with people in joyous times, to building this sense of collective purpose, of safety in the sense that we're recognized and valued, of the courage and encouragement of knowing that we can sally forth and have some place to return to. And so when I think about an event like this, I want us to really be proud of our Latino identity, but in that sense of purposeful affiliation and choice, in that sense of this is something that we draw on, but it's not something that we're bound to. It's not something that constrains us. Rather, it's something we draw on, we grow, we spread, and we can change. That's what it really means to be human. And communities are alive. They're vibrant. They evolve. And I think that's if I can just say, that's the biggest lie that's out there, is that somehow culture's fixed, identity's fixed, peoples are fixed. America can only be great if it's one way. Our enemies are always that way, right? And the beauty of you all here in Berkeley Law is you're becoming. You're your own community, you're becoming your own community, you're changing the larger community in the process. You're finding strength and courage and safety. You're encountering challenges and difficulties. And I think more than anything else, you're choosing to affiliate in a way that creates the community from which you can draw strength, find love, and find meaning. And that's what I really want to emphasize, that that's what I see happening in an event, in a beautiful event like this. Thank you all.